My kids, I want them to be better than me.
Absolutely. My grandfather used to say, if your child is not better than you, then you failed as a parent.
Yeah. Why would you not want your child to be better than you? But there are parents that are
Yeah,
jealous of their children, like,
absolutely.
especially mothers jealous of their daughters.
You'd be surprised. There are mothers who are jealous, not jealous. Well, you can say jealous of their sons because their sons, marry and they have a wife, and their moms are not the first love of their life anymore, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They get jealous of that, and then they just mess things up for that family. That happens a lot as well, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell my kids there was an incident the other night, and I had to step in.
Yeah.
And because the mother just doesn't give a I guess. And I told my youngest son, no.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, why? And I can't really talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'll just give you the thing. And I said, look, a parent's basic job is to keep their kids out of harm's way.
Safe. Yeah, absolutely.
I said, your mother just put you in harm's way.
Mm.
I said, so that's not happening. I felt like an ass
That's
because,
okay.
my kid's a great kid.
Yeah.
And I trust him. It's not you. I trust you. It's the other person.
Yeah. How old is your son right now?
He'll be 17 in December.
17. These are the most dangerous years.
Well, he's got his permit.
17 to maybe 25, I think. That 7-8 year gap, maybe even sooner, maybe from 15, 16. This is when they really show who they're going to be for the rest of their lives.
You gotta keep the restraints a little bit, because they go all over the city.
So, but how do you keep your children safe, yet at the same time allow them to explore the world and be these informed and experienced citizens for the rest of their lives? Because those experiences at this age, that 15, 16 through, their mid-20s, is pretty much is like the foundation for the rest of their lives. How do you do that as a parent?
Well, you gotta let go, and you gotta trust the universe. I mean, my oldest is going with his friend. There was supposed to be a bunch of them, but they all kind of backed out last minute. So him and his friend are going up to like the Sacramento area. And they're gonna go camping, and that's hard on me because you're nervous.
Just tell him not to go to downtown Sacramento by the Capitol.
Oh no, he won't do that.
Yeah, it's hell over there.
So but it's very like for 5 days now I'll be nervous, but I got to let him go. You just
He's
gotta.
17.
No, he's 21. He just turned 21.
You're talking about your other son.
But still, doesn't matter how old they are. You're gonna always worry about him. My youngest takes the bus to the gym, or whatever he does. I still worry about him.
That's more dangerous than flying to Sacramento, taking a bus in L.A.
Yeah, could be. Or the train.
Yeah, or the train, or the metro, yeah, whatever it is. I used to take the Glendale Beeline here, but it was only in Glendale, and Glendale's pretty safe, but yeah.
And then my mind starts,
rolling and rolling.
My father was an awesome dude, but he also had violent tendencies, so I inherited that DNA, so, like, I'm thinking if anybody hits me,
I'm going to kill him.
All the things not just kill him. I'm thinking about how I'm going to dismember him. Like stuff like that.
So I took my boy to his dentist, and because he didn't sit, he didn't need anesthesia, but because he was constantly moving and shaking, the dentist said that he needs anesthesia because I won't be able to perform that task that she needed to perform. And then this anesthesiologist came. He was creepy looking, okay, and then. After he gave the anesthesia to my son, with every age, every body mass and weight, there's a certain amount you give. So anyways, when he gave the anesthesia, my boy, this is my middle boy, Edward, he's this firecracker. He just started cramping up, his legs went up, and he passed out right in front of me. I never felt anything in my life like that. I wanted to strangle that anesthesiologist, even though he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then that procedure, took about an hour. I swear to God, for that hour in that lobby of the hallway of that dentist office, I was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was thinking constantly. First, I was praying constantly. But second, as a father, not as a good Christian, but as a father, which is any father would probably think about this, any normal father. I was thinking that if something happened to my son, I was thinking, what am I going to do to that anesthesiologist? Like, I'm just going to rush in and just take those, scissors and do something to this guy. That's what I was thinking. So, anyway.
In his temple?
In his temple, yes. So that's how Trump feels right now about Washington, D.C. Yeah. He says that crime is up the roof. The mayor is okay with it. They're saying because the crime has gone down significantly. I don't know if that's true or not. And what did he do? He enforced the National Guard to come in and enforce the city. What do you think about that?
I think it's great.
Right?
I think it's great. That's the job of the government. Protect the people.
Yeah.
Of course, the left is going to say he's Hitler, and I actually I've read it. I got a couple copies of it, but every time I see like a book that I really like, I buy it again, like a different version. Mm-hmm. So I bought Sun Tzu's Art of War, yesterday, and I started reading it again, and I go, "This is Trump's playbook right here. If you read Art of War, this is everything he's doing."
Yeah,
and he's like he just with the China tariffs, he just extended it. That's one of the things in Art of War. You don't have to attack if you can keep extending the peace before you get ready to attack. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. Not allowing all of your stuff to be used so that when you have to go to battle, you have nothing. So that's why he's getting rid of like the Germany. Now you pay your fair share. We're not paying for all this stuff. We're not, you buy this stuff off us or whatever. So a lot of the stuff he's doing is from that book.
You think, but that's going to set a precedent for other cities like L.A. or Chicago or Baltimore or I don't know, rest of the high crime cities in America?
He said that's the capital, and that capital looks like shit. So I think it can, and I think it should. Will it? I don't know. I think what he's doing is incredible.
To put out the National Guard.
Yeah, I think the National Guard. Like I was saying, Venice Beach, you got the Crips down there. Mm-hmm. Okay, getting payments from the shops.
Yeah.
And I always said if that's the job of this douchebag Gavin Newsom, should have the National Guard on that beach, getting rid of those assholes, okay? Why should they go into your business and threaten you and ask for money and say, you don't pay this money, we're not going to protect you and we're going to rip your store apart? Yeah. You go, okay, here's where I'd say go rip it apart. Motherfucker, let's go rip it apart. We need stronger. And you got children. You don't want your children having to deal with if they go somewhere being harassed by some criminals, taking their money or abusing them. Then you're gonna go through the roof, and it's gonna be too late. Now your kids are already scarred. So I think it's great what he's doing. He should clean up every city that has problems.
You remember when Antonio Villagrosa was here, the former mayor of LA? Of
course.
We asked him. Everybody knows about Skid Row. Why isn't anybody doing anything about it? I mean, it's been going on for years. I mean, it's getting worse and worse day by day. And he just said, hey, you got to give us some time and this and that. Things don't happen overnight in government. But you guys have known about this for decades. This isn't like it happened last year.
Now, when Xi Jinping and his people went up to San Francisco. They cleaned it like that. They put planters. They put trees. They put beautiful. Right. Everything got painted. So don't give me this fucking bullshit.
That's right. You're right.
You know what I mean? They did it. They did it with the L.A. Rams in the Super Bowl. They took all of the homeless people around SoFi Stadium, and they put them somewhere else, so that the people coming from out of town on their bus from Cincinnati, the Bengals fans, don't see the trash in the street, don't see the homeless. They're a bunch of liars, and that's.
But do you think Trump is doing it just because it's the capital?
No, I think it could be. Let's see what happens. At least it's close to home for him right now. Let's clean it. Let's see what happens. If it works, okay. Here we go to Chicago.
I'll tell you, when I was there recently, it wasn't that bad. I mean, there were a few things, but it wasn't like Sacramento. Sacramento is infested with druggies, with crackheads, and people shooting needles right in front of you during midday. And you got CHP officers and police officers over there. They're not doing anything about it. And then 15 feet away is the Capitol. You got the governor and assembly members and senators going in and out of that building.
So art of war
And visitors, yeah.
Art of war. Okay, you don't go after the worst situation at first.
Mm-hmm.
You take this city that's not as bad as San Francisco, that's not as bad as maybe Chicago or L.A., and you do the work. And you say, oh, look, this is how it gets done. Now we can go on to a city that has more crime and more crime.
So you think that's what he's doing?
Of course.
They're saying Bill Clinton's, weapon was The Prince by Machiavelli. That was the book he was guided by or ruled the country with, apparently, yeah. And yeah,
But that guy was an asshole, wasn't he? Machiavelli.
Yeah, man, Machiavelli was.
Didn't he abuse his people? And
Well, he wasn't. He was never in a super authoritative or ruling. He didn't have that much authority. He was part of government, and then he was part of the Medici family during the Renaissance, and then they kicked him out, and then that's why he wrote The Prince. Like how to maintain power. How to use fear tactics, how to be, how it's better to be feared than loved, that came out, that thing came out from him. And one of my favorite lines from the book is, how to be an ideal prince is to be the lion and the fox at the same time. And the backstory of that is that if you're the lion, you're the king of the jungle, and if you're the fox, you're the wise one. Nobody will be able to fool you. If you're the lion, nobody. Everybody will fear you. That's and
so he wasn't a leader.
He wasn't the leader. No,
he was kicked out of his family.
Not his family.
The
Medici family.
So
he was a diplomat. Yeah, that's what he was. Yeah, he was. He served as the second chancellor to the Republic of Florence, because back then Italy was divided into like city states.
Yeah,
kind of until it was like unified. He was the secretary to the Council of 10 for War and Foreign Affairs. Yeah. So that's that. And then when the Medici returned to power in 1512, Machiavelli lost his position, was imprisoned, and even tortured on suspicion of conspiracy. After his release, he turned to writing, producing The Prince, the Discourses of Livy, and other works that secured his enduring reputation in political philosophy. So he was like mostly a philosopher. So he was in power until the Medicis came back in 1512, and then they kicked him out. Yeah, that's why. And then after that, he wrote The Prince. Yeah. So, but I mean, he had power, but he didn't maintain power. Just like in politics, nobody does. Somebody newly gets elected, they just get rid of the previous administration, then they install their own people, like Trump, like
we're all recyclable.
Clinton. Yeah, exactly. Especially in politics. But you know what book is really dangerous? 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I think that's a dangerous book. I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently they don't let you read that book in prison because it's so powerful.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if we can find that out, pull that up, Tom. But yeah, I've heard it or read it somewhere that they don't let you have that book in prison because you can. Is that true? Okay, see, that's true. So yeah, have you read that book?
No.
I think if you want to be an evil leader, you should follow all of those, guiding principles of maintaining power from that book. I mean, there are some good things in it, but it's like super strategic. Everything has to be calculated in your life and that's what it really is, in maintaining power. But I thought to myself, it's not for me.
Well, I see a lot of documentaries, and there was one on Netflix that had to do with how to become a dictator.
Oh, dictator! Yeah, that's right.
And they mention a lot of books in those documentaries. So I don't know whatever motivates somebody, right? What helter skelter motivated people to write that on a wall after in somebody's blood. What motivates people is beyond me.
and I like to toss this in there. There's only 2 books in America that are banned in prisons. You know, the 48 Laws of Power and The Art of Seduction, both written by the same author, Robert Greene.
Yeah, Robert Greene.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Art of Seduction is also banned in prisons?
In prisons, yeah.
Did he ever go to prison?
I don't think so, no.
No. Yeah, I don't think he went.
He lives here in Burbank. Do you know that?
He's a local here in LA.
Well, let's get him on.
Yeah,
I tried, man.
We're going to get him on. Robert Greene, if you're hearing this, we want you on this podcast.
We want to know what it is in your books that makes the prison system say no.
Yeah.
But it's okay to each other in the ass. The
No, but honestly, they're very powerful books. And
Yeah.
if you have 2 senses, and if you just, if you do what he says in those books, you can be a mean individual. Like, it's mostly about
manipulation.
manipulation.
Yeah.
That's mostly about manipulation and, pretty much doing things that you that the person in front of you wants or, would want you to do. But in reality, you're not, doing it for yourself. You're doing it to, to get your way, things like this.
So have you ever been manipulated where you knew you were being manipulated, but you let it happen and then kicked yourself in the ass later?
Me? Oh, wow, that's a good question. I have no clue. I don't remember.
Of course. I know I have. I know
Yeah,
I
I'm sure I have.
times where I'm
No,
like,
no,
this
I'm
guy's-
sure I have been
Yeah.
manipulated, but I didn't know about it.
But it doesn't happen that much anymore.
It doesn't happen that much anymore?
No, because once
Are
you
kidding
once
me?
it happens a couple times to you,
Yeah.
you don't let it happen again to you personally.
Uh,
Like it's like, fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool me twice, shame on. No, fool me
Yeah.
once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah. That's George Bush's favorite saying.
Is it?
Yeah, it was.
So what do you think of this Howard Stern situation where he's not going to probably get his contract renewed?
I don't know. I mean, the guy's been on radio for decades. I think he's part of like this American pop culture icon. That's what I think of him.
Yeah.
Honestly, all these people, came and went, from Tonight shows, but he stayed. He's been on forever.
Yeah.
And mostly it's because it's his show, and he had a great story about. Have you seen his movie? It's a great movie. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think he should be renewed. If that's what you're asking.
So it's kind of like the Stephen Colbert situation. He gets paid $100 million a year for his show, and
You know what I think he's gonna do if it doesn't get renewed? He's gonna start another podcast, and then he's gonna have 1 million subscribers the next day.
Well, he was anti-podcast.
I know, but a lot of people were anti a lot of things until they get themselves. And
You
then,
think because his viewership, like I was reading about his numbers, were like when he first started, he was at 20 million, right? But now he's under 200,000. Like 150,000 people listening to his show now. I don't know if it was as high as 20 million, but that's what I read.
look, I'm going to give you a simple example.
Go ahead.
Okay, Tucker Carlson. Even though he had views, okay, but they fired him, they let him go. Look at him now. Look what he's doing. Megyn Kelly, look what she's doing. They're killing it. They're killing it on this type of a platform.
But they're probably not making what they were making at Fox.
Not in the beginning, maybe, but later on with all the sponsorships, getting big names and, getting a lot of views, they would probably. Tucker Carlson for sure is. I think Tucker Carlson is making maybe as much, if not more. Patrick Bet-David offered him, I don't know, like $100 million contract over, I don't remember, 5, 6, 7 years. And he's a podcaster. Yes, he can probably afford it.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if he went on to, Valuetainment and went on his show? I mean, it was a smart decision to offer it if you can afford it, because that was going to blow up his business, having such a massive personality on, in your company.
Well, there's got to be something new out there because there's just the market so flooded with podcasts.
The market is flooded. You're absolutely right. But there's two things that's just going to, differentiate between the imposters and people who are doing it truly for the right reasons. Somebody is going to do it forever as long as, they feel that, this is like a hobby for them, or they're doing it for the right reasons. But the people who are doing it to make money, you can't make money off of this. I mean, you can eventually, but that's going to take you years.
But there's just there's so much just trash out there.
And that's the thing. I think everybody America right now has so much hatred in them. America as a country, America as a people, America as a culture has so much hatred in us, in them, that that this positivity of love and forgiveness, and that it's okay. People are under a lot of stress. People are barely making it. People are barely making their rents. People have problems with their spouses, and you got to sometimes put yourself in their situation. If they horn, if somebody honks their horn at you, it's okay, man. Let them do it. Let them honk as much as they want. Don't honk back. If they show you a middle finger, show them a peace sign. Show them a love sign. What does the Bible say? The only way to kill darkness is with light. In essence, the only way to kill hate is with love.
Yeah.
So, and everybody responds to love in a positive way. I doubt there's somebody in this world that if you show love and positivity to them, they're going to respond back with hate. But if you respond back hate with hate, well, that's going to escalate. It's going to go somewhere else, and it's going to double and triple down. And then maybe you hit a home run going to jail. So.
Yeah. Well, hate is a poison. I don't really, and I try to teach this to my kids. I go, hate is a really strong adjective, right? And I said, you can dislike somebody, but when you say you hate somebody, that means you want them dead.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go, make sure when you're talking about people, you don't use words like that, because it's not, and you're putting that energy out into the universe, which means it's going to go somewhere else. So shit it in the toilet and flush it.
Absolutely. And I think that's exactly what we're missing right now in our households, in our families, in America in general. That's what we're missing. Love.
So not to be, this is because we're talking about people and stuff, but a friend of mine that I went to school with from probably, he was a grade above me. He was in my brother's class. So, but I was in school with him all through elementary, junior high. Then he went to we still kept in touch during high school. He's putting these posts on Facebook that he's sick of life, and
oh, that's no bueno. You got to give him a call.
So I called him that day, and we talked. He was all upset, crying, and I talked to him. I made him laugh. He said he was going to rehab. He's going to go in a couple days, and I'm like, oh, cool, man. Good to hear, Greg. I mean, I said, we all go through tough times. We all go through really demanding times. I said, but it always comes back, and there's always good times that come with that. So just sit and wait for that wave of to bring you back. And he went to rehab, and he came out, and I guess he killed himself. I'm like, what did rehab do? Because I'm talking about rehab in the sense where it's such a fucking moneymaker now. Yeah. Everybody's opening up rehab facilities. Yeah. And I know people that were living out here, and they go, I'm going to go open them in another state because there's so much money to be made. But they're not even helping these people. How do you go to a rehab center, and then less than a month later, you kill yourself? I mean, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. This is the problem. America is so focused on money and how to make money and to be greedy instead of helping people. Let's help. I don't need $10 million. It's nice, but I need enough to pay my bills, and I can help people. Give me a little extra so I can help some people.
Yeah, I mean, there's some truth to what you're saying. Absolutely. If you're doing something, I don't think you should do it solely for greedy reasons.
Yeah.
Whatever business you're in, especially in the healthcare industry, healthcare business. If you can help somebody, go ahead, man. I think you should. If you can do it for free sometimes, I think you should do that as well.
Well, Dr. Dre, I was just listening to him, and he's talking about this nurse that does breast cancer surgeries, and how she's in the middle of surgery, and United Health needs to talk to her about this person she's operating on.
Yeah.
to make sure that we're not going to cover
Listen,
that. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Unfortunately, that's what capitalism is. You know, we brag about
Well, I think
democracy and capitalism, but that's what capitalism is.
capitalism left unchecked. That's what it is. Left unchecked.
It is, yeah.
Is that.
It's left unchecked in the sense of, again, this is going back to what we have become mentality. Why do we always say, oh my God, 50, 60 years ago, everybody was so much nicer, you know, everybody knew their neighbors. Nobody knows their neighbors nowadays, you know. You rarely know the person living next to you. You rarely know the person living beneath you if you're living in an apartment or above you. Why? Because you never go knock on their door to say, hello, hey, I'm Tom. I want to introduce myself. Here's the cookies. I just moved in here.
I thought he was Tom.
Yeah, I know. But isn't that like a tradition in America? When somebody moves into a new neighborhood, you go on your neighbor's doors and knock and say, hey, you know, I'm Joe. You know, here's a bunt cake my wife just made. You and your wife and your 3 kids go and say, hey, hello, how are you? We are the Mkhitaryan's, okay? Or we're the Bystricks or the Myers. And I want to, you know, say hello. Now that doesn't exist. Nobody gives a shit about their neighbor.
Would you eat that bunt cake if your neighbor gave it to you?
If it's a brand new neighbor?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a good neighborhood, they're good.
Wait. You don't know this person. Would you eat that bunt cake? Because I'll tell you.
See, look where you're going right now.
Of course.
Look, this is what's wrong with America. You know, I was reading this article, and in America, people are the loneliest in the world. So that means they don't have a single individual they can, you know, phone and talk about their problems or ask for some help or assistance or even ask for a few $100s. There was this article that said that, I don't know, like 80% of Americans, if they were in an emergency, they were unable to come up with $500. $500, you know? That's sad. That's truly sad. It's not that, you know, it's sad that they don't have it. It's sad that there aren't people next to them to lend them the $500.
Or it's sad that the credit card companies are charging 30 to 40% interest on credit cards right now.
Going back to these capitalists again.
Or the loans that you're taking out now that used to be 4% or 10%. That takes out of, and the gasoline going up.
I know.
That's why they don't have it. Because maybe they budgeted for having that, and then all of a sudden this new sweeping.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming them for not having it. I'm saying that it's very unfortunate that they can't phone somebody and say, hey, I need $500. That's what's sad about America. That's what I'm saying. You know, people don't understand the value of family, value of friendship. They don't keep friendships. They don't keep family. You know why? Because they're selfish. All they do is care about their own themselves.
Yeah.
As long as they're happy, as long as they get their way. But they don't understand that, hey, there are some people who can make mistakes. And just because that person, that family member, that brother, sister, mother, father, or a friend made a mistake, it doesn't mean you should just cross them off the list.
No.
And so, you know what I'm
No, there are idiots. I agree.
Yeah. You know, and that's very unfortunate. That's what I'm saying. The culture of America has changed drastically in the past 60 years, you know, since maybe I don't know, the 60s and the 70s before.
You were born in
87.
87, okay.
Yeah.
So my wife was born in 76, but she's
she's not that much older than me.
So she is she has no concept of finance. She has no concept of saving money. For years, I said, let's just put $200 a month away for a vacation account, or because we used to have Christmas clubs when I was a kid. So my parents, we'd go to the bank, and every week we'd put money into $1 into this Christmas club, so that by the end of the year I got $52 now.
Yeah.
I can buy Christmas gifts. Where is that today? Where is those accounts where we get the kids to start learning how to save?
Let me tell you, family. It comes from family. The reason you got that $52 by Christmas is because your parents taught you. Your parents actively took you to that Christmas account place for you to, you know, save that dollar you're talking about. That's what it's about.
And that was $3 a week because you have 3 kids.
If parents don't teach, how are the kids going to learn?
Yeah.
You know? Parents have to put it in action and show what they're doing. My wife always says, you know, your kids are going to be like you. Regardless of how much you teach, how much you say, how much you read to them, whatever you do, whatever actions you take, whatever you portray, they're going to emulate that, you know. And that's what's very unfortunate that a lot of parents don't do today in America.
And those bank books were like the cell phones of today.